Here we have an athlete preparing for a game. They put on their gear and don their warm up. And now it's time for one more routine, stretching. Typically, athletes stretch before physical activities to avoid injuries like muscle strains and tears. But does stretching actually prevent these issues? And if so, how long do the benefits of stretching last? To answer this question, we need to know what actually happens in the body when we stretch. There are two kinds of stretching our athletes might do it. Dynamic stretches, which are controlled movements that engage a range of muscles throughout the motion, and static stretches, when the stretcher holds position to keep specific muscles at its fixed length and tension. Our athlete is currently doing a static hamstring stretch, a 30 seconds interval where he pulls his hamstring beyond its usual range of motion. However, while we often think of stretching a muscle like stretching a rubber band, muscles are actually comprised of various tissue types which interact to make a complex material. Rubber is elastic, meaning it resists being stretched and then returns to its original shape. But muscle is viscoelastic. This means that in addition to those elastic qualities, muscles change under the stress of being stretched. Let's see this in action. At the large scale, this hamstring stretch is pulling on layer of protective tissue surrounding the muscle fiber, as well as tendons that connect this muscle to nearby bones. These tissue contain elastic proteins like collagen and elastin, which allow them to slightly elongate over the duration of the stretch. At the smaller scale, these skeletal muscle fibers are comprised of millions of sarcomeres, the smallest contracting unit of muscle tissue. Sarcomeres, long, fibrous protein can relax to elongate muscle fibers, or they can contract to shorten them, pulling on tendons and protective tissue to create the force propelling out athlete's body. And when those tissues have been stretched out, they retain their strength at longer lengths, allowing our athlete to take full advantage of his improved range of motion. Unlike a rubber band, this muscle's resistance to stretching decreases with each 30-second stretch, allowing our athlete to continually elongate his hamstring. And this improved flexibility decrease the chance of incurring certain muscle injuries. But due to muscle elastic properties, this effect will be gone in just 10 minutes without further activity. The exercise from his match should elevate his muscle temperature and continue elongating the muscle, maintaining his increased flexibility throughout the game. But once his But once he gives his hamstrings a break, they'll contract as they retract back to their previous state. So if all this is just temporary, how can you permanently improve your flexibility? For skeletal muscles, improved flexibility comes from additional sarcomeres, which allow you to maintain strength at even greater length. Sarcomeres are added and subtracted to muscle depending on